Hi there. Just going to do a couple of quick short videos to show new engineers using the Digico consoles a few sort of tips and tricks that would have been very useful to know sort of if you're walking in cold to a gig or a festival and you haven't had any time to do sort of pre-production and you're just sort of thrust into it. One of the things, or the first thing I'm going to talk about is assigning channels to faders. Which is something that I would have found really useful straight off the bat and using day to day when sort of changing the channel count on gigs. So what you can see in front of you is a standard sort of default live session template that we use with nine drum channels and 3 bass channels. And what we're going to have a look at is if you didn't want to use all of those channels, rather than having them there and sort of having too many faders under your fingers that you're not using, you're going to use the channel assign function to sort of hone down what it is you're going to need. So much more efficient for your workflow and much better in terms of, so if you need to get something quickly, you can get at it without sort of pulling up a wrong fader. Also really good if you want to change the order of faders. So if somebody's set you up a session, say for instance like this, and then you prefer to have your tom mics before your overheads or your hi-hats after toms, you can change the layout of the faders without actually sort of having to sort of reroute any channels or anything like that. It's a very powerful feature of the Digico, but it is also not immediately obvious. So the way to do that is using the channel assign function, which is very simple to do, but it's sort of it's one of those things that you either need to know or you need someone to show you first off the bat. So very powerful key on all Digico consoles is the LCD function key. We're going to press that, and what happens is you get choices of what you're going to use the faders for or the functions for. Okay, and what we need is unassigned faders. Okay, so we're going to unassign some faders from the list. Okay, so we know that we want kick, overhead, left, overhead, right, bass on our first 4 faders. So kick's already there, so we unassign the snare, unassign the overhead left, unassign the overhead right, and we'll put a bass in after that. Okay, so as you can see on the main screen, they've disappeared. Okay, initially very scary. Where have they gone? Don't be sort of too worried about that. What's also good practice is that if you know you're not going to use them, I would unassign all the other faders. So off they go. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so we're left. We're actually going to take the bass DI out as well because we're not going to want it on that fader. Okay, so what we do then is we go to our master screen, and under the layout function, which is the 3rd tab in, you're going to go to channel list, and what you can see there is all of the channels that have been assigned on the desk at the moment. Okay, they may not be visible, but they are there and they are freely assignable. So what then happens is you would go to your LCD function again, okay, and now you're going to choose assign faders. Okay, so you are going to then click on your second fader, assign, it's going to go blue, and then on your screen you're going to say what you want that fader to be. So we want it to be overhead left. Okay, and as you can see it's popped up overhead left. Next one, assign overhead right. Okay, next one, assign bass DI. Okay, when that's all done and when you've got everything happy, you go back to LCD function, back to solo. Okay, and as you can see you've got 4 faders there, and if I just go back to the main screen for that, you can see that you've got your 4 faders on the screen. You can add more as you want. Okay, so if you've got a guitarist, you could put the guitar in next, one vocal, put that in next, and you can build a band around one fader bank, and you can make different decisions as you go through your production, rather than having to think about it all at the beginning and going, now I've got a kick in mic and a kick out mic, I'm just going to have to do everything and it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. You can reassign them as you need. Okay, so it's a really powerful tool. Okay, if you've got any questions, leave a comment below. If you've got any questions about how to do sort of standard practices on a Digico SD console, leave a comment below and I'll do my best to make a video for you. The next one we're going to do is the connectivity of the iPad app, which again works flawlessly when it does work, but it is a bit of a pig to set up if you are again thrust into it straight away. Okay, so any comments, please do leave them below.